working very hard to rebuild the tourism industry. And then quickly, I just want to mention our procurement initiatives because Margaret and members of your board have been holding my feet to the fire about opportunities for people engaged with this big industry. And so we created a procurement council made up of the general managers of all our large hotels to just start the process of saying, what can you purchase locally? Many of them have to purchase through their national supply chain. But to our great pleasure, a lot of them said that there are things that they can purchase locally. So if you go to neworleans.com and click on the community tab, you can register your company as a diverse vendor, diverse supplier, and that list is available to all of our members if they need local products and services. And again, I want you all to know we take procurement very seriously. We have an internal procurement policy. Most of our restaurants and hotels also have procurement policies, and we'll continue to share information with you all as it becomes available. And lastly, I'd like to say, last year in the last quarter, we offered a discounted membership of 50% to members, anyone who was a member of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber. We plan to do that again. So Margaret and team, stay tuned. We'd like you to help us disseminate that information to your members. And again, thank you for the opportunity to say a few words. And we look forward to future partnerships with the Chamber. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. And of course, we will be working with you to move that initiative forward and getting our members engaged.
Absolutely.
And the reason you are all here is because of this panel discussion with the stellar panel. And I'm gonna turn it over to Krista Ponce Dyson, who is a member of the Regional Black Chamber Board and our Vice Chair. So Krista, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Perry. Thank you, Madam Chair. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Again, my name is Krista Pouncey Dyson. I do sit currently as the Vice Chair of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. I also own Performance First Digital. Performance First is a full-service digital marketing and media buying company located right here in New Orleans. In a nutshell, what we do is help clients find their most lucrative customers really anywhere online, across brand safe websites, utilizing programmatic software. And so with that, I have been in the digital media realm now for 21 years, dating myself. I always reference Google. Google started back in 1998, and I actually started my digital media career back in 1999 with NOLA Media Group, and remained with NOLA, moved up the ranks, helped hundreds and hundreds of businesses across many different industries with digital strategy, before I left to start my own company in 2016. So with that, I'd be also remiss if I didn't let you all know, we also manage and operate an online diverse-centric job portal, diversityemployed.com. So if there are hiring needs out there, please check it out. Let us know if you have any questions. So before we get started with panel introductions, I have to say I'm uber excited and proud to moderate this group of dynamic African-American business owners. One of the pillars of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber is for our businesses to come together and build capacity together. And that's exactly what I've had the fortune of doing with every individual on this panel. We have come together in multiple pieces of business, worked on that business here in New Orleans and in other areas of the country, doing our respective parts and winning together. So I really want to put that out there as a powerful success story. So with that, we'll jump right into introductions, and we will start with marketing guru Moncherie Holmes, owner of Mojo Marketing. So take it away, Moncherie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very excited to be on the NOLA Black Chamber of Commerce event tonight. I'm a New Orleanian, but based in Nashville currently. So I split my time at least every other month, coming home and taking care of some clients there. I own Mojo Marketing and PR, which currently is the only advertising marketing agency that's Black owned in Nashville, Tennessee, with a brick and mortar. And we do everything from strategy to experience. So we're the brand strategy, the brand launching, folks that franchise brands come to, government brands, as well as folks who are birthing new products and new tech startups. So very excited to be here and tell you what I foresee coming as a result of everything happening in our world in 2020.
Great, great. Thank you, Moncherie. We'll move along to veteran video production and Brown Girl Media owner, Lynn McDaniel. Lynn, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me this evening. I'm very excited to be on this panel with this dynamic group of women. Like you guys, I've started my career back in a long time ago in the online digital space, and I've created a company, Brown Girl Media. It's a digital video production company, and I also have a platform called A New Network, and A New Network is where the content that we create and curate resides. So I'm excited to share what I know about video production and how important it is to build that into your marketing plan today.
Great, great. Thank you, Lynn. Last but not least, Sharique Richardson. Sharique is new to New Orleans, but it's been a pleasure to get to know her and love working with her. So Sharique, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your company, Digital Innovation Media Group.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Again, like she said, I'm Sharique Richardson, founder of Digital Innovation Media Group. And I guess something was happening back in the late 90s, because that's when I was introduced to web design. That's when I fell in love with it as an intern with Seagram's, and a hobby turned into a business. And I was already a marketing major in school. And so it just really helped me along the way to be focused in that area of marketing. My company specializes in WordPress web design, SEO, as well as social media management. And we work with companies small and large. And so definitely doesn't matter what size of company that you are, we've been able to work with you very successfully. And I do look forward tonight of talking to you about effective web design, SEO, and social media practices that you can do to grow your business online. And I can just say that it's been a pleasure being a part of the Black Chamber as well.
Great, great. Thank you, Sharique. So let's jump right in. Of course, everyone that owns a business needs to brand. It's even more important than ever in the midst of COVID, and the need to engage with your clients on a higher level. Of course, there are many different digital tactics to do that: geofencing, geo-targeting, audience targeting. Everyone's had ads follow them as they go from website to website online. There's OTT, pay-per-click. I could go on and on and on. But if there are certain things aren't intact prior to utilizing all of those various tactics, they won't work. So with that, Moncherie, if you could really touch on what constitutes effective brand strategy, and then, looking at that, you know, what helps to elevate the brand promise that a business needs to put forth to really engage with their clientele?
Lovely. I love that question. I will say I'm gonna start with the brand promise because that's right now what I see the bigger thing that's going to alter how we do business or put our foot to the fire on how we should do business. And that's specifically around what we say we do and what we say we are is going to help us avoid cancel culture, which is the world we live in today. It's going to help us really grab the loyal brand follower of our products or our services. Right now, everybody cares about what matters more than anything in the world. They're not just, it's not fear of missing out anymore. Let me try this, let me be there, let me experience this. Social media took a picture here. That's going away. Folks are getting real grounded and what represents them. And so if your company, donated to an organization they don't support, they may not support you. So all of those things matter. And so you want to get back to the brand promise that you did when you first started your brand, when you first envisioned your business and what it was and how inspiring and passionate you were behind it and how it was going to help the people and serve the people. If it be a service or a product, those are the things that's going to stand out. And that's how you're going to stay sustainable moving into 2021. So really getting back to your why, making sure your why is connected to where you are in your business. So if your business structure and your website and your video doesn't match up to everything you say you do, then it's going to be a disconnect. And folks are not going to be able to really connect with your brand where they should and help you make more money. And so they're going to choose what's easier and what's clear. And so when it's true, it's usually easier and clear to see. Like when you're on point with your brand and you're following through with the value points, and that's even the customer journey online and the customer journey at the brick and mortar. We have a lot of brick and mortar clients, franchise brands as well. If what we see online and what we see in the advertising doesn't match that customer experience, folks going online telling everybody about it. And guess what? It alters how your business is going to be effective long-term. And it's faster now. It's not, oh, we put up a couple Yelp reviews. It's, I'm not coming there anymore. Or I'm going to tell everybody about it and put a whole article out, So understanding that the brand promise is really first and foremost, like go back, we do our business plans every year. Folks are pivoting. The question is the promise still the same? And if the promise is not the same, that's okay. But you need to make sure that your media follows that, the advertising, your website, your video, all of these other things. Now, on a brand strategy standpoint, when folks started using the word brand, everybody's talking about digital, how that was back in 1999. I think the brand world came in 2000 when the average person who was maybe an influencer of some sort or a notable started using the term brand. And having worked on Fortune 500 brands in my career, I had never heard the term being used for small businesses, unless they had multiple locations. And I think it got diluted at some point. The part that was diluted is the lack of strategy. You heard Cheryl Tima talk about they have a plan. We gotta have a plan, and a plan is a strategy. And you actually have to follow through on the plan. You can't just make a business plan, pay somebody to to actually come up with a plan for you that actually has a return on investment laid out on it, and then you don't execute. Because then you lose your brand promise, you actually don't achieve your goals that you've envisioned. And so brand strategy is very, very important. Like when folks say they have a plan and it's starting in 2021, that's because they've come up, had a meeting, restructured, laid out what's going to work, and matched it to their budget and matched it to the targets they want to reach. And that's a part of the strategy. So more than anything, you need to make sure you have a strategy. And if you want to call it a plan, but you need to have something that you actually can achieve. And let's not go out blindly. I know a lot of folks work in their business daily, and sometimes it's hard to do the pre-work, but you shouldn't be doing the work until you have the pre-work done, which is a brand strategy.
Definitely. Strategy definitely matters. And, in connecting the dots, if you could talk a little bit more, Moncherie, you talked about, being in alignment with the website and other critical assets, but talk a little bit about, some of the tactics that are important
Definitely.
to brand. So earned media and the creative, and what impact all of that plays.
Yes,
And
it's a
putting that
checklist
brand
of
out there.
tactics. Yeah, it's a checklist of tactics. It's so robust, but there's folks out here to help you, to get it done. If you don't have anybody on your team, I will say this: as we look at hyperlocal strategies, which is really going to be key for any small business, any mom and pop, even big brands are going to be implementing hyperlocal strategies where they serve their customers and where their employees work, because they want to avoid that cancel culture, but they also want to be more sustainable. And being diluted in your brand in any way by not having your community supported is going to show instantly. So what can you do? You definitely can do earned media, which you referred, which is PR, which is public relations, community outreach. Maybe you own a donut shop, but you're serving the first responders. That's a media opportunity for you to talk about how you're serving our local first responders who've been out helping in COVID for the last 6 to 7 months, right? There's other opportunities where you can do digital and Facebook ads, which is more paid. You can obviously do things that will amplify your brand for sale, but you need to also amplify your brand with community. So it's 2 different things there. And so I would encourage you to really figure out where your budget is. If you don't have budget, go straight to community and go straight to PR, because that's where you can build stronger connections. But if you have budget, whatever you do in the community should be showed on your website. I learned this at Xavier. If there's no picture, it didn't happen. So social media allows us to aggressively post that picture, but if it's not on the website, does it really matter? Like, social media cannot work tomorrow. Instagram could be down for a whole day. Nobody can see your brand, but your website could be up. So understanding that if you are going to post it on social, it should go out in an email at least every other week or same week. And it should also be on your website. So there is cohesion around everything. That's why strategy is important. You should have points of reference so things can connect. As quickly as I say, pictures, video, we all are in the TikTok world. I love TikTok. I love what it's doing for businesses. I love how folks are quick, but you also need branded content that tells the story correctly. So you don't have to keep telling it to folks. Branding is what people say about you when you're not around, right? A video can give them the words. People believe what you say until you tell them different, period. I could say today, I'm the #1 advertising marketing firm in the United States. Until you see different, I'm the #1, And so understanding that is how people are is a perfect way to make sure that you give them the love language or your brand language to articulate on your behalf. You know what I mean? So as many times as you have, if it be through posting on social, a static message that really connects to your brand. If that's like, if you sell donuts and you have the best donuts uptown Donuts has the best donuts uptown. You keep saying that, you love a jingle. Folks are going to keep saying it, right? You take it to a video and you have a notable or an influencer articulate it. Or you put it on a billboard. Billboards are cheap. I like to encourage billboards, and we don't have that many in New Orleans. We have a moratorium for what I want to understand, but that exposure gets you bigger reach, and that's your end goal. We could talk tactics down the line, but when you're coming up with a strategy that works, if you have money or don't have money, you either go to community if you only have money, get on the radio, send out an email. If you have money, you pay some advertising on digital, online. Digital is not that expensive. You can do some great work and get big reach with small funds. And I've done it working with performance recently with a client. We've gotten great reach. But the end goal is, how many people can you reach, right? If you only going after 10,000, you're going to get 1,000, 10% of that, right? We can't expect to get the full thing. So understanding that you can't just do one thing is also a big part of the strategy. And if you're just posting it on social and not transferring it to your website and not transferring it to your email or actually communicating out to your current clients, a lot of times we get clients and then we don't talk to them again until it's time to purchase again. So there's a lot that goes into having that very strong brand strategy so that there's no points of miss. If you don't have the strategy laid out, the strategy helps you figure out your points of communication. Folks are inundated, and I'm gonna hold off on this, but folks are inundated with information. Used to be when we were doing, back in the day, Krista, when we were doing Aspen, they said we don't need to run but 7 TV spots and people would connect with the brand, right? Now it's like up to 15 or 18 because of social media. So that means somebody has to see something that you have 15 times at minimum before they connect, right? But if you're emailing them once a week, we know they open an email. So even if they don't open it, they see the email. That's credit. So you have to realize the importance of connecting everything and not just using one tactic. When you say, hey, I need somebody to do my social media, but your website doesn't have any of the information we're putting on the social.
Yes, a great point. In talking about websites and the need to be hyper local, just for a point of reference, about 5.6 billion searches happen across the internet every day. And so if you don't have relevant information on your website that Google can read that says, I do this based on the language and the wording that's on your website, then no one can find you. So I'd love for Sharik to take it away and really talk about the need to have a well-structured website. And what does that really mean down the line, as you're marketing?
Thank you. It's very important and it's very critical to have a well-structured website simply because that is like the one piece of real estate that you actually own. Social media is great. I love it, but that's not your home. That's Mark Zuckerberg and everyone who owns those platforms. And they are always changing their algorithms and they're always deciding on what is more important to them from their perspective, revenue base. So, one time people were building their businesses upon Facebook groups. And then they changed the algorithm and then groups lost visibility. And none of these people had websites. So they were losing their businesses and losing revenue. So your website is a place where you get to tell your story, you get to tell how you are different, and you get to show your potential customers what you can do for them, what your process is, and who you are. But also shows who, you're blogging, shows you to be the expert in your niche. And so when you're putting your website out there, whether you are working with a designer or if you're doing this as a DIY, you want to make sure that it has the fundamentals, like something as simple as just having your contact information there so people know how to reach you. Making sure that it's uncomplicated, that you don't have all these graphics and things and people are just getting confused. They want to know what's in it for me. What are you doing for me? And one mistake that I see a lot is that people talk too much about themselves initially on the websites. And they're not thinking about the people who are actually looking at it. Your website is not about you. It's about the eyes that are on your website, your potential customers and clients. They want to know, what can you do for me and how can you help me? And that needs to be addressed at first glance at your website. So you need to have a benefit statement that says, this is who we are and this is what we do and this is who we help. And that's very important. A call to action. People love to be told what to do. Click here, start here. You have start here buttons in the header that tells people to go to like a landing page if you have an offering or something like that, or a special, just lead and guide people and direct them with easy navigation. So no more than about 5 or 6 points on your navigation panel. Just make it simple. The whole KISS method, just keep it simple. Content is very important because you want that content to be relevant. You want the keywords. What are these people searching for? That's how they find you in the first place. So if you are a dentist and you're either a pediatric dentist, you want to have keywords that are relevant to the parents who are searching for someone in a particular area. And you want those keywords to be pretty high up on your page so that they rank higher and Google sees them and captures those. And so these are just very simple things that you can do, but they have a huge impact. Link to social media, a lead magnet, having an offer there. A lead magnet can be something as simple as a checklist. 10 ways to keep your kids' teeth clean. Something that simple can show you as an expert to really help your audience really see that, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. And let me go talk and see what they have more. Because once they start to engage there, then the odds of them engaging with you further, making appointments, making a sale, increase. And so you want to be able to have something to give them that they can have with them. Having a contact form, something like that, where they can ask questions and reach out to you. and make it easy as far as scheduling. You know, schedulers, you can get a scheduler at Calendly. It's free. You can just pop it, the code right on your website, and they can reach out and contact you to make appointments. So it's very simple things that you can do, whether you're working with a designer or whether you're doing it yourself. But it's very important that you think about the long-term game, that you think about, okay, what are my goals for my business? Am I doing this to collect leads? Am I doing this because I just want to have more brand awareness? I've had customers who were very known for word of mouth, and people knew them. COVID hit, and all of a sudden they can't meet face to face. They can't do anything else. And so now they're like, okay, what do I do now? But see, the thing is that if you already had that website set up and optimized for SEO, you would not have missed a beat. You would have had to simply pivot and just make sure people are going to your events, set up Zoom calls and do things like that. So think about long term. You know, look at your business, just like look at your website, like you look at your business. You know, what can I improve on this? Every quarter, what can I add? What am I changing? Am I looking to rebrand? Am I looking to offer this or that? And make that website part of your overall business plan, because it is really the thing that's it's the front facing part of your business. It's your home online, and it's the one thing that you own. So I would definitely recommend that you put these elements into your website to make sure that it is something that is not only visually appealing, because you are judged by how it looks, but also functioning. You know, functionality is the key. It's loading fast. The images aren't loading slow, because that will stop people in their tracks and they will go elsewhere. And it will hurt your conversions as far as how much time they engage on your site. And if you have any offers there, it's going to lower your chance of having a sale. You want to make sure that when you click on something that is not taking you off the website, that you're keeping them there. And you want to make sure that all the buttons and links and everything goes to where they should go. These are simple things, like I said, but they mean a lot. And they have a huge impact when it comes to how people build an impression about your business. And so just think about that. I mean, have someone go and look at your site, have someone test it, look at it, and give you a fresh perspective if you're not sure, because you really want to make sure that this is something that is updated. You're keeping your content fresh. You're adding new content that's great for SEO, like blogs, videos. Don't just pop the video there, add a description. Make sure that you are writing out or typing out what is on the video and some points that you're talking about, because that's what Google is going to see. They will see there's a video there, but they want to know, okay, what's in it. So like I said, simple things that can really mean a lot to help you get found online and definitely help customers engage longer and obviously make sales on your website.
Great, great. Thank you, Sharique. All excellent points, very high level as it relates to SEO, which is search engine optimization, the optimization of your website based on the content that it has. I think often many business owners do get caught up in kind of the look and feel, the aesthetics of their site. You know, they'll go and get another site created and not really have the technical knowledge. And many website developers, they really focus on the aesthetics and they don't focus on that backside. So these are some of the questions you need to be asking, you know, if you are looking at doing an overhaul of your website, or if you're about to get a new website created. You know, what about the technical aspect? Ask those questions, because I've seen, you know, businesses spend $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 on a website that nobody can find, literally, and then they have to turn around and do that all over again. So great information, Sharique. And of course, with the website being kind of the fundamental landing page of all of your advertising, you know, very critical as well to social media. And so I really want to touch on social media as well and the importance of it. You know, business owners are busy. Some feel like, oh, I'm an electrical company, I don't need to be doing social media posts and that sort of thing. So please chime in, Sharique, and talk a little bit about that. And really, you know, anyone on the panel can speak to that as well.
Yeah, social media is important. So I don't want to come down on it. It does have its place because that's where people know who you are. Because let's face it, we're in a society where people are on their phones a lot more than they ever were before, especially with quarantine and things like that. So I definitely recommend that before you start a social media strategy for your business, you think about who your customer is. Because a lot of times I've heard other people say, well, just be everywhere. But to me, that's just doing extra work. And my whole goal in working in social media is being smart. So be where your clients are. So know who your ideal client is, know who your clients are and where they are. And if you don't know, ask. Ask either them or ask people who fit that ideal profile. Because it's very important that if you are a B2B business, then LinkedIn obviously is where you should be. Secondly, when you look at your content, there are so many options as far as what you can post and what you can do. Videos always are great. I mean, video is just perfect because all the social media platforms love video. Quality over quantity. So it used to be where 3 to 4 times a day, every day, used to be the thing to be. Now it's all about if you just do one a day, make it a very, very impactful post, whether it's a quote, whatever it is, relevant to your brand, speaking directly to your client. I like content that's very conversational, that's very relatable, so they don't feel as if, you don't want people to feel that you're not approachable. You want people to feel as if when they're talking to you, there's nothing different than when they saw you on social media. So you want to make sure there's a continuity there and how you write, and make sure that you're writing as you talk so that your personality will come out there. And so you definitely want to make sure that you're posting at times where your ideal client is more than likely to be online. So we all have insights. Facebook has great insights. Instagram has insights where you can read and see, okay, where am I getting, which posts are people responding to the best? You can look at what times they're looking at your content, what days are the best, and plan your strategy around that. You test and tweak, and you find the right times. Now, of course, there's, generalities there. Of course, with Facebook, 3 to 4 times a week is great. LinkedIn, I would say once or twice a week. LinkedIn is not one that you will post every single day, but just 1 or 2 impactful posts a week is great. For Instagram, again, 3 to 4 times a week is great. Visual, Instagram is all about visuals. So make sure your pictures are high resolution, they're great, they're popping, and you're making sure that they represent your content and something that your ideal client will relate to. Twitter is more fast paced. Twitter is like a newsreel. It just keeps going on and on and on. And so you definitely want to post a lot more. I would say 3 times a day if you're promoting something every day, because it changed. You can even post the same thing several times and different people will see it every time because it just changes so fast. So definitely starting with being consistent. Like I said, quality over quantity. Use good manners, I say, because when someone takes the time to engage in your content, make sure that you just, hey, thank you, or comment back, especially comments. Likes are great, but when someone takes the time to write out a comment, respond to them, either you're just saying thank you for commenting, or you're asking them a follow-up question to just keep the conversation going, because you never know where that can go. And I've seen that lead to sales. It's done that for me, and I've seen it for other people too as well, just by having a conversation and not coming off as salesy or sleazy. And that's all part of social media, is being social. Make sure that you go out there and look at other accounts that are relevant to yours, where your ideal client is engaging in, and making sure that you're going over there and liking and commenting, so they'll see you there too and come back to your account. So that's called engagement. Just make sure that you're engaging and just being social and not just posting and leaving or posting and praying. So it's all a strategy of when and what to post and knowing who you're posting for. And that's really where social media is really powerful.
I want to just add something on social too, is I think it's important that you separate your personal page from your business page. Yes. I've seen so many people who use their personal page and as their business page, but they should be separate unless you are your brand. That's different. But if your business is separate from your personality, your personal page, you should keep those separate. And so you're posting with intention on your business page.
Agreed. I will add just one more thing. Of course, we want to sell on social media, and it's a huge platform for e-commerce. If it's Twitter, if it's Instagram, more probable, and of course, Facebook. I would add that, let's do it 3-to-1. Every time you're communicating and engaging, it's more about telling people about the brand, encouraging them about what's happening in their community or what's happening with the world. And then it's sell. It's not post the ad, post the ad, post the ad. Then you should be running ads at that point. So keep in mind, and you always have to teach people how to treat your brand. So look at social media as, here's how we make our donuts. And I'm just using donuts. I must want a donut today. But this is how we make our donuts. In the video content, it's more about the artisan of making the donut. So now they see the work behind it. They want some of the donuts. And it's not just, hey, we got donuts for sale today. They're going to run out at 12 o'clock, that type of thing. Because what you have is, oh yeah, I saw that. That wasn't as interesting. Like, you're always selling, but you're not always selling. You're selling your brand, not your product.
Yeah, people want to know that you're a person, that you're an actual person, not just a business, that you have, kids, a dog, whatever. I think it's important to have a good mix and not just posting the same thing, and mix in some of your personal life and some of your business life behind the scenes. And so they want to know that you're an actual person with feelings, that you don't just want their money, even though you do.
Yeah, so all great points, ladies, specifically around, more organic postings. But we all know that you can post all day organically, and probably 1%, anywhere between 1 to 3% of your base will even maybe engage with that post. So let's talk about that a little bit more, Shariq, and why it's important to really have that strategy. Of course, from an organic perspective, but also from a paid perspective.
Yes, I definitely believe that should be part of it, because you're always going to have certain things coming up. Like right now, we're looking at Black Friday sales. Putting a budget together for that, but just having a post that you either boost, which is just simply if you want to put $5 or $10 on a particular post on your Facebook page, and you just want them to boost it for a week or whatever, however long you tell them, they will do that. Or if you would want to run an ad. Now, this ad can run off a basic post. It can run into a funnel, and all the funnel is when they go from your ad, they go to a landing page that tells you to put in your name and your email, and then you get something from there. And so ads are very important, because you will get more, I would say not instant gratification, but you'll get results a lot faster than if you're just doing posting and organic alone. You will get basically more people who are more engaged and ready to buy than those who are just casually browsing. And so you're looking at either time or you're looking at money. And so like Monterey mentioned earlier, if you don't have the money, then focus on organic. But if you have the money, then I would advise you to have an ad strategy every month, that you have something going out there, and it can be anything from a video to a compelling image that captures people's attention. You be very specific about who the ad is for, and making sure, Facebook is amazing, because you can really get into those audience insights and pull out their interest. You can pull out the demographics, how much money they make, where they live, and really, really take the time to really tweak it. If you're going to do it yourself, take the time to tweak it and start with a low budget, and then do like even A/B testing, where you put out 2 ads and you test which one is doing better. And if one's doing better, put the money on the first one, on the second one, and you'll get more results that way. So I would advise, if you're new to ads, I would suggest that you do something at a low cost first, test it, tweak it, track it, and then definitely increase the budget as you see that you're getting the results that you want. Or you can hire a professional, of course, and that would get you the results faster.
Absolutely. Great information. Thank you, Shariq. Of course, we've touched on video and the importance of including it in all that you do from a marketing perspective. But let's hear from Lynn, our expert on video and really talk about why it's so important to have, video play a role in all of the marketing that you do, and how do you strategically do that, and also the importance of creating really good content.
Okay. I think, first of all, video as a medium is one of the fastest growing mediums. People connect with video. And because of where technology is, we have an absolute opportunity to go direct to consumer and connect with that consumer. And so video is a good way of using storytelling, selling product, giving information, engaging with your audience. And that's why you really should have video as part of your marketing strategy. It's no longer, well, if I get it, I can do it. If I get some money, I'll do it. Because now you can really produce video off your phone. So I think Moncherise spoke to this a little earlier, is planning. We call it pre-production in our business. You need to spend time to think, what are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to achieve with this video? Where's this video going to live? Where's my audience? What do I need to give to my audience? And then you go into, what am I going to create? Is it a tutorial? Is it just an informational video? How long does it have to be? Well, that will depend on where it's going to live. So all of these things come into play, but when we see video, we know that people love video. That's the pro. The con is you are competing for eyeballs with a lot of people who are creating video. And that's where when Sharik spoke about the SEO and really understanding when you're posting video to have that in place, your analytics in place, so that you know what's your return on the investment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in talking about return on investment, oftentimes, clients want to have a good understanding of, okay, if I get a professional, 30 or 60-second spot produced, what should it cost? And that varies. And let's talk about, Lynn, why it varies.
Well, it really depends on where it's going to live. Is it for television? Is it going to be just on your website? Is it just going to be on your, is it going to be on your YouTube channel? It should always be the highest quality, but you don't necessarily have to shoot in 4K if it's something that's just going to live on your website. You can actually, now you can shoot 4K on your phone, but there was a time when you couldn't do that. So that's where cost comes into play. Do you need a crew? Are you just doing a tutorial, something that you can do in your home, and you invest a little bit in lighting, good audio? I always say audio is critical. I mean, it's almost more important than the visual, because people will look at something that's not very good quality, but they won't stay if it doesn't sound good. It's just one of those things. So you have to think about that. And so it's hard to say what it would cost. It could cost anywhere from $750 to $2,500 to $5,000. It really depends on what you're trying to do with it. And that's when you have to decide, how much money do I have? What's my budget going to be? And what's going to be my return? And where is it going to live? And that's what will determine your cost. And you kind of back into your budget. Can I afford to hire a producer? There are a lot of freelancers. I'm big on making connections and developing resources that can help you before you have to pay an actual editor to do something. And you can Google how to create a video, and you would be surprised at all of the information that will help you. Mm-hmm. But if you want to do something like a series or branded content where you're building, your strategy is to develop a library of content, that's when you probably want to get into hiring a professional, a producer, a brand specialist to help you understand how to build that library of content. And I'm going to start here, and every week I'm going to post a video. You don't necessarily have to post a video a day. You can post a video, one video a week, and supplement that with your other content.
Got it. Great information. Thank you, Lynn. And just to put video into context, about 1 billion hours of video is consumed around the world daily. So video is important.
Yeah. And I think they were saying something like 90% of consumers now use video before making a purchase. So they're going to go to your website, they're going to Google you, they're going to go to YouTube, they're going to go to your social media. And if you have video, you have a very good chance of engaging with that customer and ultimately making the sale, if that's what your goal is.
Absolutely. That path to conversion, so important, and really being strategic about it and understanding how your clients are engaging with your business and how they navigate to conversion is critical. So all great points. Thank you, Lynn. This question is really open to the group, and I'd love for everyone to chime in. So if we could give business owners on the call today one thing they should do right now in this COVID environment that we're living in to help to amplify their brand and messaging, what should it be?
I'll start. I would say the easiest non-cost thing to do today is create a content plan. Like what are you going to say every month starting now? If you have a holiday sales campaign coming up, what are you actually saying that, and does it connect to what you're selling? The tactics are endless. Obviously, if you have a budget, they're even more endless. But in the meantime, if you don't have your messaging down pat on what you're actually saying and selling to your consumer or how you're engaging them, you're going to be in trouble. You can go and get a website done tomorrow. You can get your video done, but you're going to spend a lot of time editing because you either don't know what you're supposed to be doing or you're still guessing. So get the guessing out of it and sit down and write a 6-month campaign. New Orleans is the easiest place to write content campaigns. Why? Because normally, prior to COVID, we had something every month. Harrah's New Orleans, which is a former place I worked, we literally marketed around the city. If there was Jazz Fest going on, Jazz Fest is nowhere near Harrah's. We needed to get those people to leave the Jazz Fest and come to Harrah's. And the strategy was, how were we going to do that? We came up with content that was relevant to Jazz Festival. We came up with content that connected to our brand, and then we marketed during choosing tactics to do so. So understanding that a content plan is not so much your full strategy, but it just knows how you're going to sell. If we have Mardi Gras, if Mardi Gras is going to be going on, that's a way to communicate to your audience. So just keeping all that in mind, it's really the easiest place because the city sells itself, if that makes sense. So just a thought, do that first and then choose your tactics.
Great. Lynn, your thoughts?
I was going to say, I would piggyback on that as well to say, you have your content plan and use video. Use your phone to create just some quick videos so that you get comfortable being in front of the camera. People are very willing right now during COVID to give some allowances. Doesn't have to be long. It should be relevant, but make video part of your plan, even if it's just recording something on your phone and posting it to your website, posting it to social media before you invest in doing a lot of different content. And it's just a way of staying connected to your audience because everybody's online now.
Yeah, and just to add to that, 2 things. Number one, look at the content that you're putting out there because people like to either read it, see it, or hear it. So think about what kind of content you want to do, whether it's a video, whether it's a podcast, whether it's social, and everyone's different. Everyone has different, comfort levels. So, I do agree video is very important and I do believe you should do video, but let's say you're a little bit on the shy introvert side, podcast is great. You can do a video of yourself recording the podcast, put that on YouTube, and you could also release it out there so people can hear it. So think about at least 2 ways that people can consume your content. Also, use the free tools that are online as far as just auditing your website, because I'm always going to talk about the website, because I think you can go to like GT Metrics, Google page speed. They will tell you why your website is slow or what's going on, what functionality can be improved, because reality of it is that if your website is not loading in less than 2 seconds, people are going to go to your competition. So look at those things too. Look at how you're going to put out there your content, but also take care of your home online, because that's the one thing that you own.
Yeah, usability is paramount with a website, and it definitely can impact that conversion. Let's talk about, Sharik, you mentioned podcasts. Let's talk about that new shiny wheel, relative to marketing right now. So you talked about podcasts there, I mentioned earlier, OTT, over the top, video advertising, CTV. So let's talk about a few of the tactics that, potentially down the line, individuals on the call may want to use.
Well, podcasting is something that's really near to me. I hosted one for a couple of years with someone else. So I think that's great. If you're shy about doing it yourself, do it with someone else and pair up and have a conversation. I think that's one of the easiest and low cost ways that you can really market yourself and let people hear about your perspective on things. You can be talking about something that you may not think is exciting, but you can make it that way. You can make it relevant. And it's you actually having a conversation with your target market. So I would definitely say that is the newest, shiniest thing out there, because it's just such an easy way to get into it. You can go to Anchor. They give you artwork suggestions. They give you a lot of the tools, and they'll push it out for you. Or you can do a Patreon, where if you're going to go a little deeper and give a little bit of how, if you're talking strategy, you can always go to like your Patreon and just charge a low cost. Maybe you want to give out more than just high level, and you want people to pay for that, and you want to make some money. And you can always, after you put out a podcast and you market it effectively, like through an ad or through posting on social media, making sure those episodes are on your website, of course. Make sure you have a nice, healthy archive with the description so that Google can read it and know what the podcast episodes are about. You can also, as you grow, get sponsors, and they can give you money. So it's a great revenue generator if you do it right. So that is something that I would recommend, because it's a very low cost. You can find a freelancer who can do editing, but Anchor, like I said, that's a great way if you don't have a budget. They will you basically upload the sound, upload yourself talking, and then pop out an outro, and you're done. And then learn it, test and tweak it, then build and grow as you grow. But the key is just getting out there and doing something.
Great.
Can I add to that really quick? Can I add to that? I think the podcast, I love that. That's a great idea. What I would say is, as you decide what you're going to choose to execute, make sure you have time to be consistent. Podcasts, the Anchor app is awesome. I love it. Listening to short little blurbs, but you want to make sure that you have time to be consistent. Sometimes you start all these social media platforms, and then you have 2 pictures on it. Because you haven't had time. So don't put yourself in that pot. Put yourself in a pot that you actually can execute, and maybe do 10 or 20 shows in advance, so that it makes sense.
Yeah, because what we did, we had a spreadsheet like of all of our topics. This is the record date, topic, and this was the air date. So, don't overcommit yourself. Like if you want to start slow, twice a month, and then as you grow, 3 times a month, every week. But I would not suggest that you start off saying, I'm going to do this every day or I'm going to do this every week, because you'll burn out fast. So pace yourself twice a month and do a little simple spreadsheet of Google Sheets, and just simply, make sure that you're tracking, posted on, was this posted yet? Was this scheduled yet? You can batch it, do several episodes at once and schedule them out. So, don't make it hard. So I definitely agree with that. Yes.
And really think about what you want that podcast to be about, and how is it going to connect to your business, or is it something that you're passionate about, and now you're just kind of branding yourself so that you can promote your business, because that's what a podcast can do as well. So I would give that some thought.
Great. And I'll lean into this as well. I mentioned programmatic advertising earlier, and believe it or not, the majority of digital advertising is served up from a programmatic standpoint. And what that essentially means is that ads are served utilizing software versus going directly to a website and maybe calling a rep, as we would have done, you know, back in the day, call a newspaper rep or call an online rep to put a banner ad, let's say, on WDSU's website. So that's the distinction. All of this can happen really just like going in the backside of Facebook and putting in very specific criteria. We can also do that utilizing programmatic software to serve ads, banner ads, based on, you know, the persona you're trying to reach. Everybody leaves a little bit of who they are on every website that they touch, believe it or not. It is your IP address, the code on your phone, and that's how ads start to follow you. Right. And, you know, everyone has seen it. You go to, you know, a specific site and then, you know, you start seeing shoe ads, for example, following you all over the internet. And so it's all about the data. It's not you, your name, but it's your persona. It's that image that you leave online that is so important. And that's really what, you know, publishers are trying to capture every time you touch a website. So wanted everyone to really have a good understanding of that. And also understand that that's a more cost efficient way of, you know, putting your brand out there and really honing in on that ideal target that you're trying to reach, you know. So hope that that's helpful to the group on the call today.
And I'm just going to piggyback on that as well. When you think about ads, video, 15 seconds, 6 seconds commercial, pre-roll are still really good ways of getting your brand out there. I don't know, Krista, if you want to speak to that in terms of
programmatic, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, you know, just as with banner advertising, video advertising can be granularly targeted. So, you know, you want to reach someone, you know, political, of course, is happening. So you want to reach individuals in certain zip codes, right? We can get that granular, having certain income levels. You know, we can drill down and get that granular. We can serve ads based on ethnicity, on, you know, religious preference. It can really drill down because, believe it or not, you're putting that information out there every time you touch a website, and it's being captured and held so that, you know, you can be targeted when that advertiser wants to reach your persona. So with that, I think we can open up the floor for questions. Perry?
Hello. Yes, so we do have a few questions. We had some questions that came into the chat. So one of the questions in the chat was about a website called Etsy. And it's about a person has a product like, I guess, homemade soap, and they're wondering if they should use Etsy to advertise or market homemade soaps.
Absolutely. I mean, Etsy is great for, that's really how Etsy works. Most of the products on Etsy are homemade or uniquely crafted items. So I would definitely think Etsy or even Amazon.
And so talk a little bit about optimization there, because there are some optimization tactics that can put your products more front and center, specifically on Amazon site, and I would imagine on Etsy as well.
Well, the key is that making sure that you're putting out all the information on your item and making sure it's categorized correctly. And making sure that you are fully taking advantage of everything that you can do, whether it's a video on how your product works, people who are review it, testimonials are always going to be key. because that's going to show people that, you know, you've been tested and verified, and making sure that all the things that people care about, particularly for that one, skincare. I mean, is it safe, or making sure what it's safe for, what are the ingredients, you know, what's the difference between that particular item and its competitors, and just making sure that's all there. FAQ, frequently asked questions. They have something like that there because people will have questions about it. So why not be proactive and think about what they would ask you and make sure that that's already there in your profile. So I just say take advantage of every single opportunity that you can to put as much information out there that your ideal client is going to want to know and ask. So that way they don't have to make it easy, basically. Just make it as easy as possible for them to get the information so that they can make the sale.
Great.
Great. Next question is, someone has an Instagram account and I think they're asking how to increase the views on their Instagram account.
Okay, the best way, number one, is first look at what content you're putting out there, who are you putting out content for, and making sure that the content is speaking to your ideal client. I'm always going to say that because that's very important, that is relevant. Also the images, because Instagram is all about images. So video, of course, is very important, taking advantage of IGTV or Reels, and Reels, they have that too now. That's been launched pretty recently. So use all that they give you. Look at your insights and see what people have responded to in the past. You know, what kind of posts are performing better in terms of reach, meaning how many people have viewed your content. You know, looking at engagement, how many people are liking and commenting, and how many people are looking at profiles, visits, and clicks to website. Instagram gives you all of that. You must have a business account in order to see that, though. Mm-hmm. So make sure that you have a business account. It's very different than personal. Personal accounts do not give you those insights, but a business account will, and you can link it to a Facebook page and be able to link your content that way. But definitely just make sure you're doing an inventory of what you're putting out there and making sure that it's relevant to who you want to see your content, and look at what the data is telling you.
I'll add to that. Also make friends first on the social media platforms. You really want to make friends. So if you're only following 100 people, then the algorithm does not talk back to you like that. So on Facebook, it's 7% of whatever you posted, especially if it's not a paid ad, right? So you want to make friends. When you see folks sending soap to an influencer who has 100,000 followers and asking her to do a video, that's a communication you guys can do through email. And if you have a relationship or if you don't have a relationship, brands do it from Fortune 500s down to mom and pops all the time. And so you want to get your reach up. So if you only have 1,000 followers and you do everything Sharique says, which is important, make sure you're fully optimized, you're still only going to be talking to 10% of that. So how do you increase that? You can post every day, you can increase your engagement, but that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be at 10,000 tomorrow. You have to be a little more strategic, again, going back to the strategic strategy and making sure that, okay, well, maybe who can I partner with that wants my soap, that I could send what we call PR boxes out. And so that they can enjoy our soap, and ask them to post on their social. She has 136,000 followers. She posts that maybe 2,000 new clicks towards your, liking your page. So really be conscious of, optimizing your website, but not just posting to post for posting with the hopes of maybe 10 people are going to like me today. No, actually put some strategy behind it, make some friends. That's what we call using an influencer campaign, and send out some product to those people and in exchange for them to post. Most of these smaller micro influencers are charging, but things have changed since the pandemic. Folks are wanting to, again, partner with brands that matter. So,
yeah. Just that it really is about engaging and using these influencers to leverage their audience, but also you're giving them something in return. I mean, they want content too. They're trying to come up with stuff to talk about as well. So use that. And again, for Instagram specifically, it is a very visual medium. And so be thoughtful about it.
Yes. I mean, your images have to be very crisp. They have to be, whether using a video, make sure you can show the benefits, like what are you going to get from it? Not just, oh, it's a great soap.
Right.
What is it going to do for you? Is it going to even out your skin tone? Is it going to tighten your skin? Is it anti-aging? Whatever it is, make sure it's in those visuals.
All great nuggets of information.
Okay, so next question is coming from a friend of mine, Shannon, who's on here. Hi, Shannon. She's in the same spot I'm in as an entrepreneur where like I'm really trying to run my business, but I really need all this stuff that you guys are talking about. So how would you suggest someone engaging a consultant or a team to sort of help you, help a business with this kind of stuff? How do you start the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, we get this question a lot, you know, why should I hire a marketing professional, right? And it's just that, you know, you're working deeply in your business. And so hiring a team to help you work on the strategy of your business, a team that you trust, they understand, you know, the mission and vision of your business. From my perspective, that's kind of the starting point. So you definitely want to interview. You definitely want to have a budget in mind and talk about that budget, you know, with that marketing professional, because it's no need to waste time. You know, oftentimes people will want to dive into this and they may say they want to be, you know, they don't really want to tell you how much they want to spend, you know, for fear of you just wanting to take their money. None of us are, you know, we don't have time, you know, to waste time, right? And so it's really important that you be specific, that you understand your goals. And then when you're speaking with potential marketing companies to assist, that, you know, they're asking you a lot of needs questions. That's a really important criteria to know if they really want to know about your business. So, you know, from my perspective, that's really the starting point.
That's good, Krista. I'll add to that. When Krista said, you know, the money part, that's usually a tough conversation, especially when you're a mom and pop and you're trying to scale, or if you're just a small business and you're trying to launch. But understand this, we are all marketers. All four of us are marketers. And where I come from, which is New Orleans, but where I come from in the marketing space, we are our brands. So I can tell you, Mojo has to win. So I'm not going to take you as a client if I don't think it's a win, because that's how we actually get more clients. So Sharique has to do a great website so that you can look at that one as a point of reference, so that she can get more websites. And the same thing goes for video. And the same thing goes for the results that Krista at Performance produces. So we're actually the people that should be easy to talk to have the money conversation, whereas somebody else may want to negotiate. But we need to know that part so that we'll know how much you can do and what we can do. And as Black women, I will add, is that we're always making $1 out of 15 cents. That's not something we want to do. That's not something we want to do. But for our Black businesses, I know I have from here to DC to Nashville, the budgets are never what they should be, but I could get you on CNN tomorrow. You know what I mean? And CNN money is not the same as what you're paying me. So that doesn't, you know, I just keep all of that in mind. So I love that question, that statement about that. Don't fear having the money conversation, because this is your business. It's like, what do you have? How can we do something to help you? You may just need to do video, you know? So always do that up front. That'll kind of level the playing field, because we waste a lot of time having those conversations.
And then when you're having those conversations, things will come out that you didn't think about. When you're talking to different people, they're going to bring up stuff that you're like, oh yeah, I do need that. So, but like Krista said, it's good to always know what you need, you know, whether you're doing a SWOT analysis, looking at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and what's coming up, where you want to be a year from now, those kind of things. But you find that when you interview people, that other things are going to pop up that you didn't think about. And just keep in mind, you know, time and effort, cost. So if someone tells you that this is my rate, you're paying for their time and the amount of effort that they're putting in to give you the results that you need for your business. And so research the industry. research and make sure that you are aware so that you don't have sticker shock when they tell you how much they cost. And ask. Okay, if you want to ask, fine, but they will tell you why. But more likely it's time, and it's the amount of effort that it's going to take to get you to where you need to go.
And I think it really is about being strategic. So it's a building block. I'm going to speak to the marketing brand expert who's going to help me lay out my plan. Don't come to the video person first if you have no idea how you even want to use your video, or you don't even know what your brand is. We're here to help you. And so you can invest your money at a regular building block, I always like to say, so that you won't get sticker shock when you get to the video portion, because you want to do a web series, which you may not even need to do because that's not where you need to be spending your money. So I think when you think about building, you think about, okay, brand, where am I going, and what do I need to execute? And who do I need? Who really do I need on my team? And all of us are those building blocks for most small businesses and medium-sized businesses. I used to work for Martha Stewart Living and Vibe Magazine, and those at the time were called 360 companies. They had publishing, they had video, television, radio at the time, and it was always about where am I going to put my resources today, but it's all tied into what is my brand strategy and how do I reach my consumer. And so.
Great points. And, you know, you bring up a really strong point in that there's not one entity that does it all. I don't care who it is. It could be some of the biggest ad agencies in the country. They don't do it all under their one umbrella. So that is what factors into the cost as well. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Okay. And one other question is, what kind of business needs a brand strategy? So, you know, if I'm a starting out, am I too small, or, you know, can you put some idea around when do you need a brand strategy?
I'll add, and Krista, you can back me up on this one. I'll say everybody does. I said this on a call earlier today. A lot of times we jump to the logo because we think we need a logo first. No, you need a brand strategy first. You need to know what you're doing first. You know, back in the day, it was get the business plan, get the business plan. The business plan has evolved to the brand strategy plan because there's so much outward communication. The marketing needs to be at the front and throughout the business plan. So you actually need the brand strategy before you get to the business plan at some point, because you need to understand what you're actually going after so that it's articulated well throughout your business plan and down to what everything you're going to do. And so if you get some guidance from that standpoint, then if you reference it, a lot of times we spend money on these things and then we don't reference it and we don't follow through. So that's why these teams of people are helpful, or having a team is helpful, because somebody's going to check and say, hey, well, we discussed this in the brand strategy. So this needs to be on your website and this needs to be in your video marketing. And so it's important to also have a team to really have, if you're not going to be able to flush it out. But brand strategy is really the first thing you do, in my opinion.
I actually was a little guilty of that at first when I first started my business, thinking, I wasn't thinking through who my client, who my customer was, who my user, my viewer for me was for a new network. And I invested in doing the personas. And now every time I do anything, if I'm posting, if I'm creating video, I'm always thinking about those three people, because I had three personas that I'm marketing to. And it makes it so much easier when you're thinking about your brand and building that brand strategy of who is my target audience? Why am I even doing this? And why do they want to buy what I'm selling?
Absolutely. All important points. And, you know, small shops like we own and operate, you know, you can contact us and we'll come in and do a brand strategy session with your businesses so that, you know, out of the gate, you kind of understand where you're going. We'll take a look at your website and let you know if it's healthy or if it needs work, because I can't stress enough. There's no need to start a full-fledged advertising campaign if your website is not going to convert. So, you know, when you have that brand strategy, and we're taking a deeper look into that, you know, those types of things bubble up because normally maybe you're not thinking about them. So yeah, starting with the brand strategy, perhaps, you know, sitting down with a professional, whether you engage with them moving forward or not, at least you have that roadmap, you know, that you can take it, use it now or use it later to evolve on.
Great. There's a question about YouTube channel and whether the company needs to have a YouTube channel. Can you talk about what kind of business would benefit from that kind of thing?
I think all businesses
Yeah.
need a YouTube channel. You may not have a lot of content on it, but any video, if you sat on a panel, if you were on at an event, if you do a tutorial, you put it up on YouTube because people will find you. It is a huge audience. And you know, you may not be able to monetize it right away. But it is information, and it is where people are looking for content. So I would say yes. I don't know if it, you know, where it comes in your brand building strategy, you should determine that. But I think so, and it's nothing to put up a YouTube channel.
Absolutely. YouTube is a huge search engine. It's owned by Google. You know, not having a YouTube channel impacts your ability to optimize, especially when your competitor has one. So it's an absolute must to have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, and the good thing is you can link it anywhere. You can link it to social, of course, it should be on your website. I mean, you can just do you can do playlists where you can categorize your videos, whether you have, you know, appearances that you've made, whether you want to just give simple little how-tos. How-to videos do really well because people go to YouTube mostly to learn something. So you can just do something like a 5-minute video and make sure that you have a good amount of longer videos and shorter videos, a good mix. So people can see a little bit of everything about you and your business and see what you're doing. And basically it's all about positioning you as the expert anyway, but just make sure you're doing short ones, longer ones, and making sure that you're fully just optimizing it. Keywords are very important too. So when you put in your description of the video, making sure you're really clear about what you're talking about. This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm discussing in this video. So people would know beforehand. And that of course will come up on the search engines. So yes, I totally agree. Everyone should have that.
Well, that's the end of the questions. I just also wanted to point out that although Krista referenced that this panel have small shops, they all have experience in some really large organizations where they grew up and learned their craft and are now bringing it into their own business and helping our businesses. So don't take the small as an indication of not capable, so for sure. And hopefully in this hour and some time that these ladies have been talking to us, that you've learned a lot, and their capability is not in question at all. So thank you all very much. It was a great evening. I've learned a lot. I'm very happy because all 4 of these people are working on some of my business. So I've learned a ton going through the process of starting with the brand strategy and now bringing in different elements. So it's a really great experience, and I've learned a ton about my business. So this recording will be saved. It will be on the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber's website. So it'll be posted there as soon as it's we're able to get it there. Look forward. We are doing this Straight Talk series on the first and third Thursdays every month. So keep looking. We also have another event on next one's on October the 15th. So going to talk about wealth. And so come back, be a regular, register. This is all here for our members. It's part of helping to grow Black wealth and Black businesses and then give you the tools necessary to be successful. So thank you all the panelists and everyone who was here tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
Right.